All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? It's kind of late, but wanted to jump on, talk about this Wilder situation, the WBA situation, and talk a little bit about some boxing news. All right, not going to be a long live. It's kind of late, but just wanted to go over a few things. What's up, Aaron? Aaron's in the building. All right, so I got a little list here, things I wanted to discuss before we start talking about Wilder and Ugas and the whole WBA situation. Shout out to everyone that's coming in the room. Hopefully the sound is good. Hope everything is good. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. This week I feel like this week is coming kind of fast. And I don't know what you guys do for the holidays, but if you are into that whole Christmas thing, get your shopping done, man, because time is going by fast. We will be here in New Year's real quick. It's coming real quick. The holidays and all of that. So whatever shopping you got to do, whatever you got to do to prepare for the new year, get it going because this time is going really fast. What's up, High Tech? What's up, God of War? What's up, George Ramos in the building? All right, so fight week. There's a lot of fights going down this weekend. All right. I'm going to probably be able to cover one. I'm probably going to be able to cover the Lomachenko fight. But what's up, Karma? What's good? Raphael. There's going to be a lot of fights going on this weekend. I'm probably going to be able to cover the Lomachenko fight. I think the Nonito Donaire card might be going down too. I'm not really sure. I didn't check all of the times, but I'm definitely not going to be able to cover the Conor Benn fight. I think the Conor Benn is like going to be earlier in the afternoon. So, but I probably got you on a Lomachenko co-main card, which is a pretty decent card. All right. What's up, everyone that's coming in? So, with the fights this weekend, you got Richard Coleman against Vasyl Lomachenko. That's going to be top ranked ESPN. I would probably be covering that fight live. All right, doing live commentary for that. You have Jared Anderson's going to be on that card. You got Xander Zayas going to be on that card. So it's a pretty good card. It's a typical ESPN top rank card. You got a pretty good fighters on the undercard. All right. Then you have Donaire fighting Gaballo. That should be a pretty good scrap. I seen Gaballo fight Manny Rodriguez. That's the only fight I've seen him in, but he was pretty good in that scrap. So that should be a decent fight. John Rio Casimero is actually fighting as well this weekend, but I don't think that's going to be televised on any major platform. All right. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then you got Conor Benn fighting Chris Algieri, which is a pretty good fight too, for Conor Benn, who's on the come up. Again, I spoke on this briefly before. Conor Benn in this fight, this should be a fight where he's working on some things. All right. If he's not careful, he could get exposed because he didn't look good against Adrian Granados in his last fight because Granados used a lot of movement. So with Chris Algieri, we're expecting the same thing, but Algieri knows how to fight that way. That's how he fights all the time. So if he's not careful, hopefully he's worked on some things, worked on knowing how to move his feet, knowing how to cut off the ring. So hopefully he worked on some things for this fight. But that fight is this weekend. All right. What's up, Leo? Yes. You know what? Dimitri Bivol is fighting this weekend. Yes, he is. And I believe that's going to be on the zone. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me and letting me know. Yes, he is going to be on the comeback fighting this weekend as well. So it's a lot of cards going down this weekend. It's just not no major fights besides maybe Lomachenko, but there's a lot of fights going down this weekend. It's a whole lot of them, right? I forgot about that one. Thank you for reminding me. What's up, James Allen? What's good? What's up, Charles Edward Cheese? What's up, Oscar G? All right. Josh Taylor and Jack Cadaro had their first presser today. That's not going to be until February, but Josh is going to be defending his undisputed titles at 140 against Jack Cadaro, who's been the mandatory for a minute now. All right. I've seen Jack fight. I'm familiar with him. That could be one of those fights where I could see Josh dominating him, or I can see Josh winning and not looking good against him. All right, Jack Cadaro is a southpaw who's extremely defensive. You know, maybe a little hard to get to. I remember watching this fight with O'Hara Davis. It wasn't a good fight. You know, I remember seeing that a while back and comparing Josh's performance against Davis against Cadaro's performance against Davis, where neither one of them, there was no action. There wasn't much going on. Not really a good fight. It could be one of those fights, man, that's not too good. But, I mean, with Josh's experience overall, I feel like Josh should be able to do good against Jack Cadaro and win that fight, right? But I wouldn't sleep on Cadaro. He's not easy. He's not Josh's most difficult opponent, but he's not like a bum neither. He's not a walking apart. Like, he's a legit mandatory, all right? We're not going to get into Kambosos right now, you know, not tonight. Because to be honest, you know, I made a video the other day about 135, and to be honest, I'm still clueless on who's the real top dogs, you know, the top guy at 135, you know, because even though a lot of these guys are fighting decent guys, if they're not fighting each other, I really don't know. You know, I was just on the phone with my boy talking about that earlier today. If these guys are not going to fight each other, I really don't know. I'm tired of kind of predicting how these fights would go. I kind of want everybody to fight at this point. You know, Kambosos has options. I don't know if it's going to be Tank. I don't know if it's going to be Devin Haney. I don't know if it's going to be Lomachenko. I don't know who is going to be in his next opponent. I have no idea. It could be Ryan Garcia. I have no idea. So I don't know who he's going to fight. But I have a feeling, I have a real strong feeling it's going to be Ryan Garcia. That's just my prediction. I don't think it's going to be Haney. I think it's going to be Ryan Garcia. I mean, that's just how I see it. All right, but we'll see. All right, I don't know what, you know. I really don't know. As soon as we find out who he's facing, then I'll let you know how I feel about the fight. But you know, I just don't know. All right. Aaron says I could easily see Cadaro winning. I wouldn't say easily, but I don't think it's an easy fight, you know. And like I said, it's one of those ones. I have Josh winning, but I have it. I can see him having issues with Jack Cadaro, to be honest. All right. So I don't know how people are viewing the fight. I was looking at the press conference a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was watching some of it. And sometimes I just click on videos to look at the comments. And I was looking at the comments and I reading them, and they were like, this is, people kind of overlooking Cadaro. And that's all I'm pointing out. All right. I'll get down to the prediction and breakdown at some point. But I'm just telling you guys, I wouldn't completely overlook Jack Cadaro. That's all I'm saying for now. We'll see how the fight go when it comes. All right. So anyway, I think first of all, let's start off the Boxing Hall of Fame 2022. James Toney is getting inducted. Roy Jones Jr. is getting inducted, and Miguel Cotto is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. All three of them, I'm definitely going. It's been a while since I've been up there. You know, when I started the channel, I went up there. I actually did a video of the entire Boxing Hall of Fame museum. I believe that's still on YouTube. If you just like search my name and look up Boxing Hall of Fame, I think I still have the video up. It's a really old video that I recorded, but it was a pretty cool video. Check it out if you want. But I'm definitely going up there for next year, for sure, because I want to go up there. I mean, those are my my favorite fighters of all time. Roy Jones and Miguel Cotto are my top 5 favorite, and James Toney is like in my top 20. So I'm definitely going to be up there for that one, for sure. You know, I'm glad James Toney is finally getting inducted. You know, I thought it took a lot longer than it needed to, but I'm glad James Toney's finally getting in. I mean, all three are great fighters. You know, James Toney and Roy Jones. I remember the night I watched that fight as a kid live. I remember watching it. I was so excited to see that fight because I love James Toney, and Roy Jones at the time was like my favorite fighter, you know, outside of Mike Tyson. That was my favorite fighter. I couldn't wait to see that fight, you know, and it's been many, many years, you know, watching James Toney, watching him fight Michael Nudd, Mike McCallum. fight. He fought a lot. I mean, he's one of like the old school dudes that I love to go back and watch on YouTube when I have some downtime. Holly Holmes is also going to be there too, which is pretty dope. I saw that. I was actually surprised by that. Not that she's getting inducted, but I'm surprised that was this soon. But that's pretty cool. I saw her name on there too. Miguel Cotto has been one of my favorites. Period. But I really respected him on a different level once he beat Shane Mosley. All right. Miguel Cotto is one of my favorite guys. Roy Jones. Can't wait to go. I'll definitely be up there. What's up, Fistiano? Was good. All right. So I don't know, if anybody's interested or anybody's ever been. It's like way upstate. If I live in New York City, I'm gonna tell you right now, it takes like 4 hours to get up there from the city. So it's like way deep upstate near Syracuse. I've taken a drive up there a few times. There's a nice casino up there. So if you are interested of kind of going, if you're thinking about going, just know that it's for upstate, but there's things to do. There's restaurants up there. Like I've been up there for a couple fights too. The casino that's up there, the Verona Casino. I've been up there. It's pretty cool. They got like a nightclub, like a nice club. They got some things to do up there. So I'm definitely going down. I'm going up there for sure. All right. Before we get to Wilder, just want to speak on Ugas, or not Ugas. I'm sorry, the Ugas WB situation. All right, it's official. And I spoke on this before, but I kind of felt like they were going to find a way to make Stanionis step aside and let Arrow and Ugas fight for undisputed. On unification. It's not going to happen. The WBA is making it official. These guys agreed for the fight. It's not going to purse bid. They agreed. So once they agree to fight, the money, everything is situated, it's done. These guys agreed to make the fight without having to go to purse bid. It's over. All right. So there's going to be no unification. Ugas, not only does he have to defend his title against Stanionis, he also has to fight Butayev after that. So it's going to be two mandatories basically, because Butayev just beat what's this guy's name? Damn, I can't think of his name right now. Let me know in the comments. Who did he just beat? So he's going to have to fight Butayev, and he's going to fight Stanionis next. So the WBA is out of the picture completely. So all you have is Arrow with his 2 titles, and you got Bud with his. I'm interested to see how everybody feels about that. Jamal James, my bad. Thank you. Jamal James. Interested to see how that's going to go. All right. Bud just beat Sean Porter, right? All right. So he just beat Sean, and he's not with Top Rank anymore. He's supposed to be leaving. Don't know where he's going to go. I don't know how that's going to work out. But Spitz has not fought since he fought Danny Garcia. That was his comeback fight after the accident, right? He's supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao this year over the summer. Suffered an eye injury. Didn't fight Pacquiao. Pacquiao loses to Ugas. Ugas is now champion. And Spence is kind of just chilling. I have no idea what's going to happen. I know Virgil Ortiz is getting up there. He's high on the rankings. You got Boots Ennis that's moving up in the rankings as well. You got Keith Thurman that's hanging around. He's still available. He said he'd be interested in fighting Bud, but next summer, meaning he probably wants a tune-up before that. I seriously doubt that Keith Thurman is going to want to go straight into a fight with Spence. But not for nothing, if Spence is not going to fight Bud next, He probably should just fight Keith Thurman, and Thurman should probably fight him. If Thurman is not so sure and he's not too confident about fighting Spence, there's no other better time to fight Spence if it's available. That's even if Spence wants it. But I'm trying to keep it PBC right now. We're just talking PBC. Thurman, you ain't going to have any other opportunity to fight Spence at a better time because Spence is inactive as well. I mean, you're a lot more inactive, but I don't know how that's going to work out. Spence said not too long ago, you know, he is not looking for tune-ups. All right. I can't see him fighting Bud without a tune-up. I'm just being honest. Now, if he were to do it, that's cool. What's up, little bro? If he was to do it, that's cool. But I don't see it. I'm being realistic here. I can't see Spence going straight into a fight with Bud Crawford. That's his biggest challenge in his career. I seriously doubt he'll go over a year without fighting, coming off of an eye injury, to straight into a Bud Crawford fight. I mean, if he does it, much respect. But let's be realistic here. Bud Crawford is not somebody you just jump in a fight with. Based on today's standards, I mean. You know, if it was a different time, people would be inactive and go straight a couple years, go straight to a big fight. This is not that time. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. There's not many options left. You know, if we're not talking about the up-and-coming guys, the fresh guys like the Virgil Ortizes or the Boots Ennises of the world, if we're not talking about those dudes, there's not that many options available because Spence already beat Danny. He already beat Sean Porter already. Sean Porter's retiring. Kell Brook is out of picture. He's going to fight Amir Khan. It's not many options left. You know, he's kind of backed into a corner a little bit, depending on what Bud is going to do. And Bud seems to really want that smoke. I mean, he's actually being active on social media talking about Spence now. I mean, I felt like he should have been this way, but now he's being real active and open about talking about Spence. So with that all being said, I don't know what Spence is going to do, but I'm waiting to see, you know, I mean, I already know what his fans are going to say, like the hardcore fans. They're going to ride to the death, but all we want is to fight. You know, I mean, I like both. Obviously, I like Bud more, but all I want is to fight. That's all I wanted from jump. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to see the fight at this point. Another thing about fighting tune-ups, what if the tune-ups have a great night? What if Spence decides to fight a tune-up, but he decides to fight someone that's pretty good? I don't know who it is, but someone that's maybe underrated. Let's just say Spence has a bad night and loses. We just saw George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez. We saw Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. He messed up the bag. So with all that being said, you just never know. Spence, if you don't go into a fight with Bud Crawford, if you don't go in a fight with him and you have a pretty tough tune-up and a terrible night, what if you lose that tune-up before getting the big bag with Crawford? Yeah, it's not a Manny Pacquiao bag, but it's definitely a pay-per-view fight for sure. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I don't really know what he's going to do. You know, I just kind of wait and see what's going to go down. I don't know what Bud is going to do as far as who's he going to sign to. Is he going to stay a free agent and move around like how Devin Haney's doing right now, how Canelo's doing? Or is he going to sign an exclusive deal? You know, he might think he's not, but it might be required if you're going to go to the PBC to do it. I have no idea. I don't really know how it's going to work business-wise. You know, just got to wait and see. So, I don't know. You just got to kind of wait and see, all right? But I just wanted to bring that up because we all been kind of waiting. I know I definitely was waiting to see what's going to happen with this whole WBA situation. I really, really thought in my heart, I really thought that they was going to work something out and try to get another unification because, you know, Spence, business-wise, you want to go in there with as much clout as you can. If you can go in there and fight, you know, Ugas and possibly beat him, go into a Bud fight with 3 titles, that'll definitely help negotiations on your end as far as you maximizing your earnings and stuff for that fight. But I mean, he still has 2 belts. I guess he still got the better pay-per-view numbers. But I don't even want to get into that. I mean, I personally just think it should just be 50-50 at this point. But I don't know. I'm not the businessman when it comes to this stuff. All right. Deontay Wilder. It's not official that he's retiring. Right? I checked out the the Kevin Hart. The Kevin Hart Laugh Out Loud Network, Cold as Balls, where he sits in an ice tub and interviews other celebrities, other athletes. They sit there in the ice tub and talk about whatever. So Deontay Wilder was on there. He was talking to Kevin Hart, and he was talking retirement. He's basically saying, "Listen, I really don't have nothing else to prove." He's thinking about all the things that he wants to do, he could be doing. He's taking care of his daughter, and how he's done much more. And this is what I like about Wilder. I mean, this is the Wilder I became a fan of in the beginning. Most of us became a fan of. When Wilder was just talking about the importance of his family, his daughter, and all of that stuff, right? I said this before, and I made a video on this before. And I've been consistent with this throughout the entire time I have a channel. My view on this is, if you're thinking about retirement and you're very accomplished, just do it. If you don't have the burning desire to keep fighting and you don't really need it, if you're financially saying, like, he made a lot of money, if he's going to do it, if he's thinking about it, just do it. Now, me as a boxing fan, I don't care about your losses. I've always wanted to see the Joshua. Joshua got his losses too. I said to y'all before, and I've been consistent, I don't care if Wilder and Joshua loses to everybody. I still want to see them fight. Before he retires, that was my biggest fight, most desired fight. I said even after they both took L's, they both took L's, and I still said, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I still want to see them fight. I don't care who, I don't care what the situation is. I still want to see them fight. Now, if he doesn't really care, or he's not that hungry anymore, and he doesn't feel like it's worth it, then retire. Do I consider Wilder accomplished? Yes, absolutely. As far as what he was able to do, he's part of the reason why the heavyweight division came back and made it entertaining again. Him, Joshua, and Fury made the heavyweight division exciting again. Now, as far as his resume, of course, his resume has a lot of holes in it. Besides Luis Ortiz, he really didn't care for the people he fought. He fought Fury and Ortiz. Outside of that, everybody was just okay. It was just average. I didn't even think he needed to fight Ortiz again. But rematches like that happen because a lot of people were talking about the round where he got off and got saved by the he was hurt in that round, and then they gave him time to come back. So I get it, but outside of that, I wasn't like, you guys know how I feel about his resume. All right, resume wasn't that great, but with everything, none of them. When you look at all 3 of them, and I've always said this, you can criticize every bits and parts of the 3 of them. This is why I just wanted to see them fight. I just wanted to see them fight. So as a boxer fan, I would have loved to see him fight Anthony Joshua. But if he's thinking about retirement, then retire. But is he accomplished? Absolutely. You know, for a guy that wasn't so technically sound and didn't box that long, he didn't grow up boxing like a Tyson Fury. You know, he accomplished a lot. You know, he was an Olympian. You know, he went and had like 40 plus fights, had a bunch of KOs. He became mega rich. You know, I mean, he's one of the top earning fighters in the sport right now. You know, we're talking post Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He has to be one of the top 5 earning boxers out there with those 2 Fury fights. You know, so for a guy that really was a one-trick pony, he accomplished a lot, a hell of a lot. You know, he did. He did. So, yeah. One thing about the 3, no matter how you feel, and they all got their criticism, like I said, they all have them. These guys brought the heavyweight division back, and I think that was so important because for a while, everything was just focused on the welterweight division. The welterweights this, the welterweights that, Manny, Floyd, everybody was sitting around waiting on them to see who they would face. You know, people wouldn't even want to schedule fights until they figured out whether, you know, similar to Canelo. Look at the 168 division. Look at that division. Before Canelo fought Saunders or all of these guys, before he went up there, all of these guys just sat around and waited for a Canelo opportunity. You had guys on the same network, not fighting each other. Same promoter, same network, whatever. Not fighting each other. All right? Saunders and Smith could have fought each other before Canelo got there. Plant and Benavidez could have fought each other before Canelo got there. But people criticize Canelo as if these guys weren't just sitting around not doing shit. They weren't doing anything. So he went up there and took all of their belts. You know? So with the heavyweight division, he brought it back. And I think the heavyweight division, he's part of the reason why I came back. And the heavyweight division, it needs to be alive. It needs to be that. You know, because Klitschko and both the Klitschko brothers were dominant for so long. Plus, you didn't have any American fighters that was exciting. So they went so long with being dominant that people stopped caring. They wouldn't even bring it up. You know, the heavyweight division was kind of left like the cruiserweight division where people just wasn't talking about it. You know? So I think it was good that we had a champion here. Besides all the criticisms that I gave Wilder over the years, it was exciting. You know, his fight with Ortiz was, and the fights with Fury were classics. Those are classic fights. You know, I mean, modern day classics. You know, Joshua and Klitschko, it was a classic. That was a classic fight. Even his loss to Ruiz was a classic. That's a classic fight. Those are classic fights. So I have to give him his props for bringing that excitement. He could have just been a dub. Like, he could have just been a bum. You know how many fighters they try to make something out of something? You know, somebody, you know, Deontay Wilder, they did it right by giving him so many fights and letting him develop over the years. You know, I think he could have been better, but he was what he was. You know, that big right hand, we saw those knockouts. We loved it. We just wanted more. I know I wanted him to fight better fighters for sure. Absolutely, yes. But for what it was, he did give us a lot, gave us some good fights. and that's it. You know. Now, if he wants to come back, if he doesn't do the Anthony Joshua fight, he can still always fight Andy Ruiz or some of these other guys that's on the PBC. PBC guys still got a lot of fighters available, so he can always come back. And you know, if he has said something like, you know, I still got 3 fights in me, then I would have been like, all right, cool. You know, or if he called someone out and say, you know what, I still want this fight, then I would have been like, all right, cool. But once you just talk retirement, he's like, I got nothing else to prove. He's sitting there with his cask on his hand. Whatever, you know, like, I mean, listen, if you hate Deontay Wilder, right, which I'm sure a lot of you do, I'm sure you were satisfied with the 2 losses he took. He took the losses. What else do you really want? You know, some of you might want him to just to retire and disappear. Some people probably just want him to get beat up by somebody else. I have no idea. But whether you love him or hate him, he gave us a lot of entertainment. You know, especially here in America where we haven't had like a real like champion in a long time. No one that we really cared about. You know, after I don't even know who. It's been a really long time. What American heavyweight did people really care about? You know, after, you know, Holyfield and Tyson's day, after them, you didn't have anyone that no one really cared about. You know, no one really cared about like Samuel Peter and Rockman, and, you know, no one cared about the American heavyweights for a while. You didn't have anyone that anyone really cared about. So when Deontay Wilder came, it was good. It was legit. You know, I was going to fights. I won a good 2 or 3 of his fights, man, here in Brooklyn. It was a good time. He gave us classics. Yeah, I wish he fought Dillian White. You know, I definitely wanted that fight. That was one of those top fights I wanted. You know, I wanted the White fight. I wanted the Povetkin fight. You know, Povetkin screwed that one up. What else? What other fights did I want? There was a few of them. You know, obviously I wanted Joshua more than anything. I would have really liked that fight. Andy Ruiz would have been cool to watch. You know, but I mean, you know, let's go down. Let's go his resume. Let's look at his resume real quick. See, let's go all the way down. Because before Berman Stavern, there wasn't really much there. You know, before Stavern, I mean, even Stavern was a good fight at the time. You know, I remember doing a breakdown for that fight years ago. Stavern was a good fight. He didn't blow Stavern away in the first one. It was a good scrap. The Molina fight was good, and Eric Molina was still a little bit fresher at the time. The Johan Duhapis fight was good. That fight was really good because Duhapis actually put a lot of work on him, put a lot of damage on him in that fight. The Arthur Spilka fight had to be one of the best ones. I say that's my 3rd favorite one. Besides Fury, I'll say Fury, Ortiz, and Spilka. The Spilka fight was one of my favorite ones because I had Spilka up 5 rounds to 4, I think. And not the judges, but I thought it was a lot closer than the judges had. No, he's contemplating retirement, Captain. He's not officially retired. He's contemplating it. All right. Eddie Morales asked me if Spence ducking Crawford. He said he didn't want any tune-ups. You think he'll fight Bud? You know, I spoke on this early in the video. You're definitely gonna have to go back. He said he didn't want tune-ups. And he also said, you know, I mean, he was willing to go straight into a fight with Ugas, which is not a tune-up fight, in my opinion. You know? So if you were willing, technically, if you're willing to fight, go straight into a fight with Ugas, you should be able to go straight into a fight with Bud. Technically, yes. Now, realistically, do I think he's going to go into a Bud fight without a tune-up? Absolutely not. All right? It's two totally different things. I don't believe so. Yeah, White has been a mandatory for 10 years now. So anyway, yeah, I would say Deontay Wilder, top 3 favorite fights outside of the 2 Fury fights or the 3 Fury fights. I would have to say Luis Ortiz 1 is right behind those fights. And I would have to say Artur Szpilka was my favorite fight out of those. And that's it, really. There's nothing else. You know, the Duhapar fight was good, fun fight, but it's not something I would bring up. You know, I mean, you really don't have much here. You had the Fury fights, you had the Ortiz fight, and most people are just gonna remember those. I personally loved the Artur Szpilka fight. That was his shit. That was a good fight. That was a great fight. All right, but Szpilka, people won't mention him because Szpilka is not a top tier heavyweight. It never was. You know, I mean, he just wasn't. I think one of my favorite knockouts of his was the Kelvin Price knockout. I thought that was the best, like one of the best, cleanest punches he landed to get a knockout. Definitely the Kelvin Price knockout. But again, there's not really much there. You know, it's really not. When you look at, you know, Chris Arreola, Gerald Washington, Burmester Vern 2, Dominic Brazil, it's not much there. It's not much there. There's a lot of title defenses against people that no one cared about. Ollie Harrison was just wild, man. That was a wild knockout. It wasn't even, yo, he was down and the dude was just swinging all crazy and the ref jumped in. Anytime I watch that stoppage, I always like, damn, like the way he was windmilling, like it's dangerous for the ref to even jump in and stop that. Yeah, so anyway, you got to give Wilder his props. You know, you might not like him. You might not love you probably don't like his fans, but he's part of the reason why boxing has been entertaining for the last few years. You gotta understand. I mean, listen, even for the content creators, like, you know how much video views that people got just speaking on Wilder, because everybody wants to listen. Everybody cares about Wilder, you know. People care about him. You know, people care. Even if you hate him, people care. You love him or you hate him, people care about Wilder. People love talking about Wilder. You know. And not just in America. I mean, around the world, people know who Wilder is, you know. So I think he accomplished enough. You know, now when we're talking to like ATG heavyweights, I wouldn't put him on a list. I just wouldn't. You know, I know he has a lot of title defenses, but once they started comparing him to all-time greats based on his title defenses, like when they were like promoting the Fury 2 fight based on his title defenses and comparing them to like some of the all-time greats, I was like, nah, now we're getting crazy. It's good promotion, it's good promo, but now we're getting crazy. Let's not get crazy, you know? But for today's time, yes, those 3 brought a lot to the heavyweight division, you know? But there was still a lot of unanswered questions. Again, not fighting mandatory, you know, your real mandatory, not like the ones that they just put in front of White and made mandatories. I'm talking about the actual mandatory, you know, not fighting White is a blow, not fighting Joshua is a blow. You know, just not fighting certain fighters was kind of blow, kind of cherry picking Fury, because Fury was a cherry pick. Let's be real. Fury was a cherry pick. I'm talking about the first Fury fight. The first Fury fight was a cherry pick. You know, especially him coming back and not looking so good in his first tune-up fights. That was a cherry pick. You know? But yeah, he gave us a lot of fun. But it's not official. It's not official, y'all. It's not official. He was just talking about it with Kevin Hart. Look it up. Look up Deontay Wilder, Kevin Hart. Video just dropped like today or yesterday. You know, he's just talking about it, you know, and he's thinking about it. And I said, listen, if you're thinking about it, just do it. All right? Sup, Adonai. All right. Yeah, well, if Wilder career, where would it be if he won? I mean, that'll be a whole completely different conversation because he'll have a win over Tyson Fury, which would have been a bigger win than anything Anthony Joshua had. You know, if Wilder would have won, I think he would have definitely fought. You know, I thought Joshua would have they would have tried to definitely make that fight. You know, but see, this is the thing with me. I don't think that we, you know, just because certain fighters lose, I don't think we don't need to see the fight anymore. You know, that's why I mean, that's what, like, when you bring up old school, at least fighters still fought even after the losses because people respected, you know, people still wanted the fight. You know, now, like, the newer fans are like, oh, he lost to this guy, or he didn't look good against this guy, so we don't even want to see that fight. And the Floyd Mayweather era kind of did that. You know, oh, he got a loss in his record. We don't want to fight him. The fans are saying it, and the fighters are saying it. And I think that's a problem, you know? I'm not doing the calmer British accent. Punch Drunk is okay. He's good. He's back. He hit me up earlier this morning. He's good. He's good. He'll be back. He'll be back soon, but he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Punch Drunk is doing good. Well, you know, for the people that are bringing up the LDBC, and I've said this plenty of times. Yes, they brought a lot of, you know, not all of them. All right. But with their fan base, their hardcore fan base, yes, they bring a lot of radical like views when it came to Wilder and race. But there are a lot of non-black content creators that make anti-black content. And there's a lot of them out there, and no one says anything about them. You know, no one says. There's a lot of channels out here that just attack other channels. And it seems like 90% of the time they're just attacking the LDBC. The LDBC, they're one part of it, right? Their support of the black fighter and the black fighter only, or sometimes just the PBC black fighters. That's what I said. Now every channel is the same, so I don't want to put all of that because they're not all the same. Every channel with them, they have different views on stuff. I'm telling you, because I know them. They don't have the same content, but there are a lot of anti-black fighter channels out there, and people don't say anything about them. There are a lot of channels out there that pick against the black fighter every single video that they do. All right. They go into they little live things, and they're very, very anti-black. There really is another side of the radicals. It's like the reverse LDBC or whatever, and no one ever brings them up, you know? And I think that's part of the reason why the LDBC exists. You know, because before they were here, there were channels that were like that before the LDBC existed. And when they started to come together, they were coming together and they were going at those other channels that were totally against black fighters in every single video that they did. You know? And no, I'm not going to put their channels out here. If you notice, I only bring up channels that I support. If I don't talk about a channel, I will never say their name. I will never say it. They're not hard to find. But they are out there. There's a lot of them out there. All right. Now, they don't have a name or a title, but there's a lot of channels that are with that. And there's a lot of channels that support them. So you got to understand there's two sides of it. A lot of y'all come here and talk about the LDBC a lot. Probably because I'm a black channel and I'm not, you know, with the LDBC or anything. I'm not affiliated with them in any kind of way. I'm cool with some of them. In fact, I don't have no issues with them at all. Because I still listen to them. It's just that they're all different. You know what I'm saying? Some I can't listen to. Some LDBC channels I can't listen to at all. And then there's some that I still listen to on a regular basis. You know? And then there's probably like a lot, because you know, there's probably like a lot of channels that they start, they're young, they're new, and they attach LDBC to their name right away. You know, I don't even know if they're really affiliated with. I don't even know how that works. All I know is that every LDBC channel is not the same. But I'll tell you, for a person that's been on YouTube long enough, because I've been on here for 8 years, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of channels out there that are racist, have been open about it. All right. And they still had channels that you respect on their panels. And no one talks about that. Now, it's none of my business, because it's none of my business. That's them. I'm not here for other YouTube channels. You know how many channels have made videos about me and I don't address them? I just don't. Because I came on YouTube on my own. I didn't come on YouTube for other channels. So sometimes I might have guests here, or sometimes I join other channels that I respect, but I'm not on YouTube for other channels. I'm here for me. I make my own content. You know, people that I hear are here to listen to me talk. Me. So sometimes I have guests, you know, sometimes I'm a guest on other people's channels, but I'm not here for other people's channels. So if I bring up channels that name by name, it's because I listen to them and I respect them enough. Do they always make content that I love? No, they don't. Sometimes they make content that I think is trash. I'm sure they feel the same way about me. That's cool. It's boxing talk, you know? But I give credit when it's due. Now, if it's someone that I don't respect at all, you will never hear me bring them up. You know why? Because I don't want to bring more awareness to their channels. So if I don't like someone's content, I just don't talk about them, or I don't listen to them. I'm so petty, I don't want them to have an extra click from me. All right? I'm not going to thumbs down their videos. I'm not going to thumbs up it. And I'm not going to give it the extra view. If it pops up on my feed and I know I don't like their content, why would I click on it? I don't want to give them another click. I don't want to give them one view. My one view, I want to keep my one view. That's how I feel. But when people come here and talk about all these other channels that they can't stand, yada, 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 like, why are you giving them the attention? You know, some of the most respected channels to me don't have the most subscribers. They have the lowest amount of subscribers. And it's because it's a gift and a curse. If you make great content, sometimes people don't want to listen to you because they're looking for drama. They're not looking for real boxing talk. Some people are, but you know, there are some channels that are just there for the clicks. You click on my video, you click on what Dave Chappelle say? You clicked on my face because I put my face in every thumbnail. Because you know when you click on my views, like if I get a lot of views, you're clicking on my face. I don't have any clickbait thumbnail or title. I don't say breaking, or I don't say breaking news, or I don't. It's no. It's just me, and I'm just give you the title of what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, I like Showbiz a lot. Salute to Showbiz. Boxing IQ, Ring Boxing IQ is a great channel as well. There's a lot of great channels out there. I know you guys are naming a bunch of people. I'm not. Kurt. I like Kurt. I listen to Kurt all the time. I listened to DT3 a few times. I see somebody posted him. DT3 is cool. I listened to him a few times. I think he got good stuff. There's a lot of, but I honestly, to be honest, I really don't listen to many channels that much anymore. Not anymore. Most of the time when I'm on YouTube, I think Boxing Beats and Rhymes is probably the only channel that I listen to almost on a regular basis. Like if Boxing Beats and Rhymes put up a video, if you put up like 5 or 6 videos in a week, I probably listen to 4 of them. I think he's the only channel that I listen to on a regular. Like on a regular. Because now he has this format where he just goes through all the news. So I listen to him the most now because he kind of like, he could go into history real quick without it being prepared to do it. Like other channels do it, but you could tell when they prepare to do it. He just goes right into the old school bag and brings those examples up with the new without having to prepare for that. So he's the only guy that I can listen to on a daily basis. Everybody else, I listen to them based on what the topic is on. Yeah, I listen to Bruce Wayne. I've been listening to Bruce Wayne for a while. Yeah, shout out to Bruce Wayne. I listen to Bruce Wayne. I listen to Barbershop Conversation. I mean, he's LDBC. I listen to Barbershop Conversations. Not all of the time, but I listen to him. I listen to Hat Man. All right, you guys. All right, y'all gotta go into, because then at some point y'all gotta start naming channels I don't like, and I don't want to, and I don't want to start talking about them. All right. All right, man. So listen, I covered everything, man. I'm probably gonna be back on in the morning because I think I want to do some predictions for the fights this weekend. All right, there's a lot of them. I didn't do no film study this week at all. Like I kind of know how Lomachenko and Comey is gonna go. I think that's the only real one that I want to predict. Shout out to Mr. Boxing today too. He's dope. Yeah, Bruce is a wild boy. He's a wild boy. He's wild. But yeah. I'll probably be back on the morning because I do want to definitely go over some predictions. And shout out to Captain Crochet too. I've been a guest on his channel, and he's been a guest on mine too. Yes, I watch Montero Unboxing. I do check out his stuff sometimes too. Yeah, I listen to all of those channels. Yeah, I just want to hear boxing talk, man. I don't want to hear too much race talk. I don't want to hear too much business talk. I think that's it for me. For me, I don't want to hear boxing gyms. Boxing gyms. I've been listening to him a lot lately too. He is a good channel. Good film study and good explanation, clear explanation. So, there's a lot of film study channels, but I don't watch many of them. I watch a couple, but because there's a lot of people that do film study, but I like how boxing gyms, I've been shouting them out on here because I haven't been subscribed to him for that long, but I like the way he does it. Like I like the way he explains it. He explains it really, really good. And I like the film. And I normally I agree with everything he said. He kind of sees it like how I see it, you know, almost every time. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Complex Boxing. I might subscribe to them, but I'm not familiar with them, so I can't tell you if they're good or not. All right. Yeah, Ring Boxing IQ gives the best female boxing content, and it's not even close. It's him, and that's it, really. You know, he covers it for real, for real. And I've learned a lot from listening to him. You know, he definitely covers it on a top-notch level. All right. Again, all of these channels, I respect them, I listen to them. I don't always agree with them, and that's okay. You know, I don't know why when people, they gotta be so disrespectful, and you know, like some people are super disrespectful on here, man. And I just don't get it. I don't watch too many channels, but I've seen some people like videos at times, and they're like going to war with each other, like they're just being completely disrespectful on these panels. And I can never get caught up with that. I would never sit here and just curse at people on video. I would never do it. I don't even care if it's being said to me. I would never do it. You know how many people made videos about me and I just didn't care. I'm just like, all right, whatever, you know? Just can't do it. Because people don't talk like that to each other in real life. No one talks to each other like that in real life. You know, I've been in wars, like I'm going into big, crazy sport debates with people in the barbershop or at friends' house, and just sport outings or at fight parties. No one is disrespectful. We raise our voices. We're loud. We might be drunk. We go crazy. But it's never to a point where YouTube and like Twitter, like Twitter's a whole different. Now that I'm on Twitter a lot more now, Twitter is a whole different level. Like Twitter is like the dark side of boxing. Twitter is crazy. I can't spend too much time on Twitter. Like as soon as I go in there, I see a few tweets, I'll be like, nah, I gotta get off of it. Twitter is a different level of craziness. You know, Twitter is crazy. Twitter is too wild for me. Like Twitter is like the boxing hood. Like you don't need to know what you're talking about at all. You can just go in there and say whatever you want. You could be as disrespectful as you want. You got people creating burner accounts and just leaving tweets at you because they don't want to talk to you from their personal account. So they go on there and make the fake accounts. They'll have like 10 tweets up, and then they'll at you. It's just too. I can't do Twitter for too much. Like I like to go in there and tweet a few times and then be out. I can't be on there for too long. Anyway, I'm getting out of here, man. I think I covered everything as far as the Wilder situation and stuff. But I'll be on there tomorrow. Definitely just to cover the fights for this weekend and give you like predictions for the fights. All right. But anyway, have a good night. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button. If you haven't already, definitely smash the like button. And salute to all the channels out there too. Salute to the ones that were here tonight, and salute to all the channels out there as well. You know, anyone that's on YouTube doing their thing. All right, peace.